How to write a good romance story. What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maua and today we are talking about love, romance. How would you as a writer write it the way people would love to read about it? First of all, you need to know romance revolves around the following setting. 1. First love. 2nd, friends becoming lovers. 3rd, enemies becoming lovers. And 4th, ex-lovers who are trying to get back together. You need to first choose your genre. Sorry, I had to move out of that area. It was crazy. Anyway, so you need to choose your subgenre. Romance is diversity. It can go all kinds of ways. You need to choose a subgenre, and just a few for you guys to get started is you can choose fantasy. You can write fantasy that add romance in it, so fantasy romance. You can choose historical romance. You can choose teen fiction or supernatural paranormal romance. Now you chose your subgenre. You know which genre you want to write in. It's time to choose or to create a setting. Setting is where your whole entire book is set upon. So let's say, for example, you decided to choose your setting as a high school. So we readers will already know that you were going to have a romance between high schoolers. So setting is the next important things you need to choose. You need to choose what you want your characters to be. Where do you want them to be? For example, another for example is maybe they're already fully matured people. They are working. Maybe they're in the office. That's how they met. So you need to choose a setting. You already chose your subgenre. You already chose your setting. Now it's time to let the magic happen. Romance readers always know these following tropes. You can go however ways you want, but romance always follows the following tropes. Boy meet girl, or girl meet boy. Boy is attracted to the girl, or vice versa. The girl is attracted to the boy. Romance begin. Hardship, separation. They reunite. And then they live happily ever after. Now you know the tropes which romance always follows. You can go whichever way you want, but those are what usually any writer, basic writer follows. Now, you've got that. What you need to do now, which is bring us to topic number 4, is to let the magic happen. This is where your secondary characters are coming in. This is where the book itself, the plot, everything, this is where everything is just now starting. This, my fellow writers, this is where you need to create that driving force. What drives these characters of yours? In this topic, I have things I want you guys to understand. You can go whichever way you want with your romance, because after all, this is your book, right? But you need to do the following to make your book much more believable. Number 1, do not, I repeat, do not. I understand love at first sight happens, but in books that's like, come on. So do not make your characters fall in love as soon as they met. I've seen this in books so many times, like especially with a female character. They meet a hot dude and they're like, oh my god, I can't do it anymore, I'm in love with him. No, don't. Do not make your characters fall in love the moment they meet. They need to go through stuff. They need to go through real things which normal real people go through. Number 2, show them as vulnerable. Create vulnerability to your characters, not like some kind of superhuman male or superhuman girl who doesn't have any vulnerability to them. These characters are humans after all, so make them vulnerable. Create feelings inside them, just make them vulnerable, make them relatable to real human lives. You understand? Make them feel vulnerable. Create a realistic plot. How did I get from point A to point B? Always create a realistic plot. Always make sure your readers understand how did these guys go from there to there. Number 4, create feelings. Your characters need to have feelings, either from their family, either from their whatever, but they need to have feelings, not just someone who just walks around the entire book, just do stuff. Just make them have feelings. Number 5, let them have life other than just that romance. We call this an expansion of your plot. So instead of just two people meeting, two people talking, two people falling in love, two people fighting, two people whatever, just everything about them, create a bigger picture. They need to have other things in their life that they deal with, you understand? So make them deal with other things in their life as well, just other than just that boy and that girl, or if it's LGBTQ, then whatever. But make them have other life out of that romance bubble. So you always need to have that back and forth drive. What drives your two main characters to be together? What is driving them to do what they do? Why did this guy specifically felt the need to fall in love with this girl? Not because they're just main characters, but why did he fall in love with this girl? Or why did this girl found that guy attractive? What happened? What drove them to do that? What created that? What is driving your characters? They always need to have a force that drives them to do stuff. Not just because they woke up one day and decided that I'm gonna fall in love with this girl, or I'm gonna jump off the building, or I'm gonna do this. There has to be something that makes them do what they woke up that morning to do. Number 5. Now this is the point from the How to Write Your Good Romance book. Number 5 is to make the best out of their first moment. Yes, I'm talking about their first intimacy moment. Make the best out of it, because that's just them. You're finally there. You finally get together through the hardship, through the back and forth, through the fights, through the first meeting, through the whatever they went through. Now it's time. It's just the two of them, nobody else to distract them. So make the best out of that. Some people love reading that, and you need to spend time making the best out of that. When I first wrote my first intimacy scene, I remember I spent days just writing it down, and then I spent another days just editing it, making it perfect. If something doesn't read nice, I was removing it. If something needs changing, I was changing it. So spend time in these moments. Spend as much time as you need. Don't rush them. Okay, let's also first talk about that. Do not rush their first moment. Not like they've just met, boom, woke up, boom, they've done it, and no. They need to go through stuff to get to that moment. So don't rush it, but when you're actually there, make the best moment out of it. Number 6, and the last one for today, is now everything is done, they live happily ever after. Okay, so now everything is done. Your characters are now living happily ever after. Now, that's like traditionally how every romance goes, but you can choose to do things differently. I'm not saying you should always do that. My first book, Amelia, again, the romance was hot, but they didn't end up together at the end of the book. She married someone else. So you can choose to do whatever you want with your book, with your romance. Just make sure those moments, they are real, they're understandable. If you choose to make them fall in love and live happily ever after, that's one way to do about it. But you can also choose not for them to end up together at the end of the book. But don't just cut them like that, like that's it, they didn't end up together. No, maybe you can start dropping hints of why they were not together. Or you can start dropping hints of which guy the girl was gonna end up together. So this guy obviously needs to be one of your characters, and he needs to appear a lot more, and he needs to have, there has to be a reason why she didn't marry that guy and married the other guy. So yeah, happily ever after doesn't have to be with the same guy she fell in love with the first time, but she can fall in love again and have her happily ever after. So it's not just about that. Okay, those are my main points. Follow those, write a good story, write a good romance. People love romance. Make sure you write a good one where we can enjoy the moments and the hardship and the fights and the times when they went for a date, everything. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you guys for watching. Thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Bye.